Hello everyone, welcome to day 7 of Salesforce Admin Certification Series. My name is Arpit Vijayvargya. I'm a Salesforce Technical Specialist at Techmetrics Consulting. I'm a group leader of Salesforce Architect Group Ajmer. I'm also co-founder of Blaze Your Certification. You can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter ID is Arpit Vijay95. You can search me on LinkedIn also with the name of Arpit Vijayvargya. I'm more active on LinkedIn instead of Twitter. So if you want to reach me out quickly, just follow me on the LinkedIn. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm thankful to our host, Mr. Amit Chaudhary, his Salesforce MVP and organizer of Apex Arts. So today our agenda, like we will be covering workflow or process automation, which cost around 16% into the Salesforce admin exam. Under this topic, we'll cover below subtopics, which is like capabilities and use cases of workflow, process builder, and lightning flow, and same as approval process. Then we'll learn about when to use which automation tool. So before we begin into the slides or the walkthrough of these features, I would like to let you know one thing. Like at the time of recording this video, like Salesforce is uh, promoting lightning flows more, and they are going to retire workflow and process builder. So like we are like we'll talk about the capabilities and use case of workflow process builder for the exam purpose. But if you are learning the Salesforce newly, and then I would suggest you like focus more and more on lightning flow, because whatever we can do with the workflow can be done via process builder also. Sorry, via lightning flow also. Okay. Now coming next. So here we'll talk about the capabilities and use cases of workflow. So workflow rule is used to automate the internal process to save time across the org. So whenever we have some process which needs to be done into Salesforce itself, we can utilize workflow. So for example, like whenever an account is created, we want to create, we want to update any field on account itself, or we want to create a task. Then for that kind of process, we create these we can utilize the workflow. And workflow can be broken into two main components. So one is criteria, and second is action. So criteria is like when we want to execute this workflow, and action like what kind of action we want to take on, like when this workflow is executed. So for evaluation criteria, we have following option. So like we can evaluate the run, we can evaluate the rule when the record is created, or created and every time it's edited, and created and anytime it's edited to subsequently meet the criteria. So let's talk about one by one. So if we evaluate the rule when record is created, then rule this workflow will only execute when the record is created. So it means like it will never execute more than once for a record. Okay. Second is created and every time it's edited. So this will execute the workflow rule every time when the record is created or edited, and this rule repeatedly runs every time a record is edited as long as the record meets the criteria. Okay. And if we are selecting this option, then we will not be able to add time dependent action on the rule. Then third one, we have like created and any time it's edited to subsequently meet the criteria. So for new record, this rule will be run whenever the criteria is met. And for updated records, if record is changed from not meeting the rule criteria to meeting the rule criteria. Okay, so what happens? Like we mentioned, like whenever opportunity stage is getting changed, we are sending an email. Okay, So in that case, if first time we change the opportunity stage, then the email has been sent. If next time we are updating any other thing on or on opportunity, then it will not send the email. But if we again change the opportunity stage only, then it will send the email. So like the criteria should be like whenever record is getting updated, so it should be changing the value from not meeting the rule criteria to meeting the rule criteria. Okay. Now let's talk about the actions available into workflow. So there are two type of actions are available. One is immediate action and second is time dependent action. So immediate action, like as soon as we rule, like the workflow rule is executed and the criteria is met, the action will be taken. So if and time dependent action, so time dependent action are executed at a specific time only. For example, like um, one day after case is closed. Okay. And at the specific time, like the time we specified, the workflow rule criteria will be re-evaluated to check if the criteria is still meet. So let's suppose we close a case today, and we mention like the one day after case is closed, an email will be sent out. So after one day, like the time reach to send the email, this workflow will again re-evaluate the criteria. So in case if someone reopen the case again, like he changed the case status from close to in process or in progress, then the rule will not executed and the email will not be sent out. Okay. There are four type of automated actions available in workflow. One is email alert, second is field update, third is outbound message, and fourth one is create task. Okay. We have one more option also available, so which is specific to knowledge actions only. So if you are using knowledge in Salesforce, then you will have some more some more actions available related to knowledge also. But if you talk about the Salesforce admin exam, then these four are sufficient. Okay. Likewise, every feature in Salesforce has some limits also. So same workflow rule will also have some limits. So let's talk about these limits. So these limits are like the per org limit. So total rule across object, so it includes a workflow, auto assignment, auto response, and escalation rules. So total rules across the object in the org can be 2000. Okay. Total rules per object can be 500. So if you talk about a single object, let's talk about case. Okay. So total the sum of 500 we can create, which will include the workflow, auto assignment rules, auto response rules. We can only active 50 rules on per object, and time triggered actions for per workflow rule will be 10. We cannot add more than 10 time dependent actions in per workflow rule. Immediate actions per workflow rule will be 40. Okay. And time dependent sorry, so time trigger per workflow rule will be 10, and time dependent action per time trigger will be 40. So like if you are having a action like after one day, we need to do some action, so after one day you can totally perform 40 actions there. Okay. Salesforce process these rules in the following order. So like whenever we are trying to save a record, the rules will execute in the below manner. So one, like the first, it will be validation rules. Second, it will execute the assignment rule. Third, it will execute auto response rules. And fourth, it will execute workflow rules with immediate actions. Then it will execute escalation rules. So time dependent actions, like they will be in asynchronous mode. They will execute when the time reaches. Okay. So they will not be part of this execution order. Okay, let's talk about the process builder. So Process builder helps in automating business process and gives a graphical representation as we build it. So basically, I can simply say it's an advanced version of workflow. Okay, in workflow, we don't have a graphical representation, but here we have a graphical representation also, and definitely we have some more features also in addition to workflow. So we'll talk about these features also. So how a process builder can be triggered? So there are three ways to trigger a process builder. First is like when a record change a record change process start when a record is created or edited. So if we create a record change process, then whenever a record is created or edited, the process will start to evaluate, and whenever the record criteria, like the criteria for that particular uh, process meet, then it will execute the further actions also. We can execute a event like a process builder on the behalf of a platform event message also. So whenever we receive a platform event message, we can trigger a process builder then also. And we can create a invocable process also. So in invocable process, like one process builder can call another process builder also. There is also a number game. So like we have some limits, and these limits are applicable to enterprise, unlimited performance, or developer edition. Okay, so the per org limit will be like total process around the org we can have 4,000 process builders we can create, and total active processes can be 2,000. Okay, so like I mentioned, like process builder has more power, it has more features. So let's talk about this. So we can here we can create any type, any object type record. So in workflow we were able to create only task record, we were not able to update the like create the record of any other object. But in process builder we can create record of any other object type also. We can update any related record, either it's in a child or parent. In workflow we were able to update the same object record only, but in process builder we can update the related record also, which is child and parent both. We can use a quick action to create a record or update a record or log a call. So quick actions also can be called from process builder. We can invoke a process from another process builder also. We can launch a flow here also. So if we have created a auto launch flow, then we can call that auto launch flow also from process builder. We can send an email we were able to send into the workflow also. We can send a custom notification also, like the bell icon notification we can send from process builder. We can post to a chatter also, and we can submit the record for approval. So these are the additional actions available in process builder, which were not available into approval process, sorry, in workflow. Now let's talk about the lightning flow, Salesforce flow, lightning flow. Like this is most popular and most in-demand feature in Salesforce. So the Salesforce flow collects data and perform action in your Salesforce or external system. Okay. Uh, the type of flows. So we have record triggered flows, we have screen flow, we have scheduled trigger flow, we have platform event triggered flow. Apart from it, we have auto launch trigger flow, and some others are also available. Okay. It also has some limitations. So let's talk about the limits first, then we'll talk about other things in next screens. So total 50 versions for per flow we can create. So what happens, like whenever we create a lightning flow or Salesforce flow, if we deactivate it and we make some modification, then we save it, then it new version of that flow is created. Okay, so the versioning is mandated. So if sometime if you have created, you have made some changes, but that changes are not as per your expectation, then you can revert to the older flow and like older version of that flow, and you can activate that flow also. Okay, the second is like executed element at runtime for per flow is 2000. So in flow, like we have various elements in use, And when a flow start executing, so total 2000 elements we can execute in a flow. We can active flow per flow type will be 2000. So like 2000 work record triggered flow we can keep active. 2000 screen flows we can keep active. Similarly for scheduled and platform event triggered flow also. And total flow per flow type will be 4000. So it combines the active and inactive flows both, but per type of flow. Okay. So when to trigger which flow, like we have various kind of flows available. So when to create a particular type of flow. So whenever a record is created, updated and deleted and you want to perform any action, then the record triggered flow will be the best suitable for it. Whenever a record created, updated, deleted and you want to perform some action after a certain amount of time, then record triggered flow will be the best fit, but you need to use scheduled path into that. If you want to perform a task or action at a specific time and frequency, then scheduled triggered flow will be best fit for it. If you want to perform any task or action when a user click on a button on form or a quick action button, then a screen flow. So whenever you want to take some inputs from user, you need some screens for that, or you want like a user will click on a particular button, then I'll perform this action, then screen flow is best suitable for it. Okay. If you want like whenever a user click on a custom button or a link, you want to perform any kind of action, then auto launch flow can be utilized, because as soon as you click on the custom button, you could have a Apex written into the backend that Apex can call auto launch flow and can perform the actions which you want to perform. If you want to call a flow from another flow, then auto launch flow will be utilized. Not flow basically. If you want to call a flow via another process, means the process builder basically, then auto launch flow will be utilized. If you want to call a flow via Apex code, then auto launch flow will be best fit for it. And whenever you want to execute a flow when a platform event message is received, then platform event triggered flow will be best fit. Okay. Like there are I have mentioned some actions that can be performed by a flow. So like you can create a record, you can update a record, we can delete records, and we can query some records also with the help of flow. We can send email, we can collect inputs from user via screen flow. We can send some custom notifications with the help of bell icon. We can send surveys also. We can submit a record for approval. We can access external system also. Okay, we have a feature available in Salesforce external services that can be utilized in flow to make some call outs also. We can call Apex also, and similarly we can send some outbound messages also with the help of lightning flows. Okay. And in lightning flows, like it's in a very large topic, so I will give you a walkthrough on uh, say lightning flows. So let's see into the work, like what kind of actions we have and what we can do. So I'm in. Okay, so let me go here. Like click on the new button. See, we have options like screen flow. I already have talked about schedule triggered flow, auto launch flow, record triggered flow, and platform event flow. So I'm just showing you the record triggered flow. So let me create a record triggered flow. Okay. Then like on which object? So I'm doing it on account. Okay. Whenever a record is created and updated, so I'm just selecting the created only. Okay. So entry conditions, I'm leaving it blank, but I can apply some conditions also. Like if I put it and then I can choose a condition like if the billing city equals to, I can put a value here. Okay. But I'm leaving it as a blank. There are two options like the fast field updates. So fast field update will be run before the record is saved into the database. Okay, so if you want to update few values on the same record for which record triggered flow is running, you can utilize this one also. And actions and related record, so this will execute when record has been saved to database. So I'm using it. Okay, and if you want to use asynchronous path or basically scheduled path, then I'll just ask you to click on this checkbox also. I've done it. So now you can see we have two options. One is run immediately and one is run asynchronously. So what I'm trying to do, I'll click on this. I have following options available, like I can send an email alert. Okay, I can take some decisions. Okay, so decision means like the criteria we were deciding on the entry level, we can decide criteria here also. So we can create multiple nodes in a same flow, and we can take different actions on the behalf of the decisions we take here. Okay, let me click here. Let me show you more options. Okay, we have these DML related options here. So we can create records, we can update records, we can get records, so we can query the child records and parent records also. Okay, and we can delete any records also. Okay, let me click on the actions also. So in actions we have following actions available, like for users, if you want to activate session based permission set or deactivate session based permissions, that you can do. uh, Okay, if I talk about task, like we have options like we can change the date of task. Okay, priority we can change. These kind of actions are already available. We can log a call. Okay. If I talk about surveys, I mentioned like you can send surveys, so you can send surveys also. Okay. Uh, this is case related actions are already available here. Apart from it, let me show you like the email also. So you can send emails also. You can submit a record for approvals. You can submit the record for approval. You can send notifications from here. Okay, so if you send notification from here, like following details are required, which we can set here, and we can send the notifications. Okay, you can create like apex sections. I haven't created, but you can create apex sections and you can call the apex sections also. Okay. Email alerts, if you have created any email alert, that email alert also can be utilized in the lightning flows. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I will create a record basically. Okay, okay, so I'll give a label, create contact. Okay, one record I want to create, I'll select just record here. So it will be new resource, and new resource will be variable type. Okay, data type will be a record of contact. I want to create a contact basically. So I have given the name of con record. Okay. I'm just leaving it as it is. I'm saving it here. Okay. Okay. So basically, I will select the values from different values here. Okay, I'm setting the values for contact. So like what will be the last name? So last name is required. So last name will be where is the current record? So this is the current record. We can capture the current record here. So the name of account will be last name of the contact, and I've done it. Let me save it. Okay. I have activated it. Now let me create a contact. Sorry, create an account. So I'm showing you the contact. Okay. And let me show you all contacts. So these three contacts we have here. Now I'm creating an account basically. you show into the flow like I haven't linked account with the contact with account, so there will be no parent child relationship. I'll just create a contact only. Okay, so I'm giving a name of Apex Arts and today's date 5 October, and I've saved it. I was able to save the record. Let's see in the context. The contact also has been created. So this is how we can automate some processes with the help of Lightning Flows also. So coming next to the slide, we have we'll talk about the capabilities and use case of approval process. So approval process automates how a record is approved in Salesforce, and approval process specifies each step of approval. Like including who can submit for approval, who will do the approval, and what action can be performed when the record is approved and rejected. So basically, what is the use case of approval? So sometimes what happens, like if you are taking a decision or if you are performing any action, like in an organization, like the person who want to perform the action, he doesn't have all the like he is not authorized to do it. So let's suppose if I am selling a product and my customer is asking for 20% discount, but I don't have I'm not authorized to give the 20% discount to the customer. So what I can do, I can write a approval. I like in our system we can create a approval process. So whenever I mentioned like the 20% discount is required, it should go for approval to the sales manager or regional sales manager. Okay, so this is the kind of use case. So in that use case, like what we need to define, like what is the criteria of submitting a record to approval, submitting the record for approval. Who can submit? Like I am a salesperson, I can submit it. Okay, if my like if the sales manager is directly doing, it can be directly approved also. And who will do the approval? So maybe sales manager can, like the city manager or city manager can do the approval. If you want to have multi-step approval, like one city approval has done the approval, then regional manager has to do the approval, then multi-step approval also we can implement in Salesforce. And once the approval has been done, what kind of actions we want to do? So maybe we want to update the, like update any field in the Salesforce. We want to send an email to salesperson or some other person. Okay, so these kind of actions also we can do. Okay, so here is a basic checklist before we create an approval process. So whenever you are planning an approval process, just go through with these things. You should have these handy, so it will be helpful to create approval process in a single go. We should have a approval request email template. If you want to post that approval request on the chatter, then we should have a approval request post template also. We should determine the approval request sender, like who will be sending the request. Then we should have determined the assigned approval also, like who will be assigned for approval. Then in case if approver is not available, then who will be the delegated approver? Okay, once delegate, like these things are final, then the next step, like any criteria if your approval process needs. So basically, if we are submitting an opportunity, then all opportunity will not be submitted for approval. But if the discount is more than 20%, then it should be submitted for approval. So that kind of criteria we can apply. We need to design the initial submission actions also. So when as soon as the record is submitted for approval, if you want, like nobody should be able to edit the record, we can log the record. If you want to send an email to someone, you want to update any field, so these kind of actions you want to do, that actions can be performed in initial actions. We need to decide if a user can approve request from wireless devices also, like via email if he can approve. So whenever we submit a record for approval, email also send out to the customer, to the approver. And if you want, like he can directly without logging into the Salesforce, he should be able to approve that approval record, approval request. Then also we can define that thing also in Salesforce. We need to determine if user can edit records that are awaiting approval. So if it is not required, then in initial actions, we need to log the record. We can decide if records should be auto approved or rejected also. So if let's suppose you have a criteria where like you need to submit a record for approval, but if the approval is being submitted by a specific person or the specific criteria is being met, then it should be auto approved or auto rejected. That also you can do. We need to determine how many levels our approval process will have. So like it's in a single step or multi-step, two-step or three-step. That also we need to determine. Then the actions when approval request is approved or rejected, that also we need to decide. We have some limits for approval process also. So let me talk about one by one for each of them. So we need to decide like how many active approval process will be there. So 1000 can be active approval process into the Salesforce org. The total approval processes will be 2000. So it includes active and inactive both. Total active approval process per object will be 300. Steps per approval process will be 30, like one step, second step, third step. So up to 30 steps approval process we can build. Total 25 approvers can be decided for each approval step. Total 40 actions can be decided for initial submission action. The final approval actions and final rejection action will also be 40. And if you want to recall a approval process, then also the 40 total actions we can take. So these actions, like we can send email, we can create a task record, we can update a field. These actions we can perform basically when we submit a record for approval process. Now it's time to check your knowledge. Let's twist your mind. So the administrator at CloudKicks wants to update the account with the number of records on a custom object. How should the administrator fulfill this requirement? So let's suppose there is an account object and there is a custom object which is child of account. So whenever a record is created into like on account, we want to update a field with the total number of that child recorded into custom object. So first thing, if account and that custom object has master data relationship, we directly create roll up summary field. But if that's not a case, we can create Salesforce flow, and with the Salesforce flow we can like we already have seen, we have option to get records, we have options to run a loop, and we have options to update the records also. So with the help of all of these things, we can update a record, we can update the count of number of records on account with the help of Salesforce flows. The administrator for Apex has a flow that makes several updates to contacts when they are being created. If contact status is new and the contact email is known, the administrator would like to send a welcome email. What should the administrator do to complete this requirement? So this can be done via workflow also, but this is already mentioned, like they already have a flow on contact. So what we will do, like we will put some decision elements into existing flow for the contact and will send an email in the decision flow. Like once the um, decision flow finalize the criteria, and it says like this record is eligible to send the email, then we'll send email via flow also. So we'll not go for the workflow. A sales executive at ApexR wants to be notified whenever high value opportunity are created for hot accounts. What should an administrator do to meet these requirements? So this can be achieved via a workflow, because we just want to send an email. Okay, if it is in a custom notification, then like if it is mentioned like wants to be notified via custom notification or bell icon specifically, then we need to create lightning flow. But it is an email notification as of now, then from workflow we can do it, because it is not mentioned like the workflow a flow is already exist. Okay, so if it was mentioned like a flow is already exist, then we will definitely go with the flow, will not create a workflow. And Lightning Flow will be the best option for it. But it is also not mentioned like flow is already exist, and notification is also not specified like which notification we need to send. So if we assume about email notification, then we can use workflow here. Okay, so this was about today. Now, like, we have covered all the points, but you may have some doubts in your mind, like I will be able to clear the Salesforce admin exam or not, or I want to prepare more, then what to do. So I will suggest you two resources which are very helpful. First is like Trailhead. Okay, go on the Trailhead, click on the credentials, click for certification. Okay, go on the administrator. Okay, you have these three options. Okay, first start with this, then this. Then there is an interactive test is also available. You can give the test and you can check your eligibility, like how many questions are getting correct. Okay, this is one, like, it's a pre-check for you to appear into the Salesforce exam. Okay, second thing, you need some counseling, or you need to discuss with someone who can guide you about this exam, how to prepare. You want to clear your doubts, then I will recommend you the free option available. Okay, search for Blazor certification, open this website. Okay, we already help lots of trailblazers to clear their Salesforce exam. Okay, and we are still helping the trailblazers to clear their exam, and we are helping them one on one. So what you can do, like, you can send us an email basically. Okay, you can click on this link. Okay, this message icon, and with the help of this, you can send us an email. Okay, or you can reach out to me, or reach out to our team on LinkedIn also, and Twitter also. If you want to reach out to me directly, then you can reach out to me on LinkedIn also, and you can write us on an email. Our email is like blazeyourcertification@gmail.com, and you can write us your query. Someone from our team, or most probably I will be connecting with you and will help you, guide you to clear your Salesforce admin exam. Okay, so this was all about today. You can follow us on you can follow the Salesforce ApexR on the Twitter also, and you can visit the website, and you can subscribe this link also, uh, subscribe this YouTube channel also. So thanks for the day. Thank you so much for joining us today.